This video is all about what not to focus on when you're starting a new business. Yes, you heard me right. What not to focus on when you're starting your very first business. Let me explain why we're taking the approach of talking about what not to focus on. A lot of the times when people start their business for the very first time, they kind of get some sort of analysis paralysis of trying to figure out all of the little moving parts, all of the little things that they have to get done so that they can launch their business. People start thinking and analyzing everything that needs to be done, and this can create a few things. First of all, it can make you just paralyzed. It can turn you into someone who can't really make a move, who can't take the next step into creating their own business because they keep thinking about, I don't know how to get all of this done. I don't know how to hire a lawyer. I don't know how to do these things, how to pay my taxes. And you just kind of sink into this paralysis of not knowing what to do. And this is a crappy feeling that none of us wants to feel. It also takes you nowhere. The second thing that happens is that people focus on all of these little, usually insignificant things, or if they are significant, maybe they're not relevant yet, that kind of stops them from focusing on the core of the business, on the thing that would really move the needle and get them to success. So I want to talk about some of the things you should not be focusing on when you are launching your business. And at the end of this video, I will also talk to you about some of the things you should be focusing on when you launch your business. And some of my points might surprise you, some of them might not. Let me know once we're done if you agree with me in the comments below. So the first point is bureaucracy. What do people do? They focus on, I have to start a company or an LLC, I have to get an accountant and a lawyer, I have to pay my taxes, I have to build contracts, I don't know what to do, this is so much. They focus on all of these things and they use this as sort of a block from starting their business. They tell themselves and the people around them, this is too difficult, I can't do this, I don't know how to do this. They feel lost and they just don't take the next step because of that. Not good. So what you should do instead is just start working on the actual business. Build your business, and once you start getting paid customers, you will have a much easier time taking the money that you're getting from your customers and investing that into building the company, the LLC, having an accountant look at your taxes and actually make sure you are on point on everything. This might feel scary because you are imagining the IRS knocking on your door the moment after you launched your business if you haven't incorporated it yet. But the truth is, in most countries, there's a lot of leniency towards new businesses. They know you don't really know what you're doing. They know you likely are not making money yet. So they do give you some time to actually get moving before you have to start reporting things. We've reported our first year of business almost 2 years later, and it was completely legal. We did not evade taxes or anything like that, but we got the chance to get started before we actually had to report everything and actually get the legal stuff going. Yeah, it's kind of a headache to do it in retrospect, but if this is your block, if this is the thing stopping you, don't let it stop you. Get started and get back to that once you have some resources and some money. I have a pro tip for you. Use recommendations. Do not just Google lawyers and accountants when you are looking for professionals to work with. From painful personal experience, you need to find someone who is a good fit for your type of business and for your niche. Someone who is a little bit familiar with other businesses like yours. And the best way to get someone like that is recommendations from other people with businesses like yours. The second thing is your business name. Yes, your business name. You might think this is the most important thing in the world. This is your brand. What most people do is they spend days and sometimes weeks agonizing over the possible names and their meanings and how will that sound as my brand? How will that sound as my brand? They're picturing themselves as the next TikTok or Facebook, and they need a good name that would be as good as TikTok and Facebook are. But are TikTok and Facebook good names? Not really, they're not good names. They only sound good to us because the brand succeeded. The name is not what makes the brand. The name is just a name. What makes the brand is the product, the marketing, and the company. So what you should do instead is give yourself a clear deadline. Give yourself no more than, let's say, 2 days to choose a name. Do a quick brainstorming session, choose your favorites, and then maybe ask some friends, family, maybe potential customers what they think about this name. Choose it and go with it. Do not spend more than 2-3 days if you have to, if you're very undecisive, on a name, because you don't need to spend this much time. Now I have another pro tip for you. When you choose a name, try to find something that is short and simple. It doesn't have to have a meaning. It can, but it doesn't have to, because the meaning will come from the actual business and the services and products that you provide. So just choose something short that sounds good to you. Don't overthink it. And the last thing that people always get stuck on when they start their very first business is the logo. You might think this is super important. You're wrong. Let me tell you why. What most people do is they can spend weeks paying a lot of money to professional designers to build a perfect logo for them. They would do a bunch of brainstorming sessions and quizzes and surveys about the colors they should use, the fonts they should use. Should it be round or square? Should it be an image or a letter or a word? It really doesn't matter that much. If you look at brands, let's look at Instagram for an example. Yeah, you might think they have the same logo since the beginning of time to the end of time, but it has changed so many times. If you look at the timeline, you will see the Instagram logo has changed. And so can your logo. So your very first logo doesn't have to be perfect. By the way, the same applies for the business name as well. Rebranding is something that businesses do, and it usually is a good marketing opportunity rather than something that would make other people completely forget about this business just because it changed the logo or the name. So what I recommend you do instead is give yourself again a very clear deadline of, let's say, a week to complete the logo. Draft an idea based on other businesses like yours. Copy from these businesses the style and color. You will see, if you do a quick survey of your competitors, that they all have pretty much the same style and colors because each niche has the things that work for this niche. Copying the color and style doesn't mean you copy them. You just get some ideas to make it easier for yourself to get started. And then either build your logo in a free logo maker or in Canva, or pay like $5 for someone on Fiverr to do it. It might not be perfect, but it will be good enough. And once you have the funds to actually create a super professional logo, then you can pay someone to create this perfect logo that you have in your dreams. By the time you get there, you might realize it's just not as important. Our logo for Reconvert is the same one we paid, I don't know, $10-15 for on Fiverr when we first got started. And it's good enough. We love it even now. So I've talked about what you shouldn't be focusing on in your business. But before we move on to what you should be focusing on, can you make a guess? What are the 3 things I think you should be focusing on when you create your business? Go ahead, comment below. Pause the video, comment below, and let's see if you were right. So we've talked about what not to focus when starting your business. But what should you focus on? The answer is simple, though not easy. Focus on your product. What is your product? What is the problem that you are solving? What is your main value statement? How are you serving your customers? Focus on your target market. Who are your customers? Where are they at? How old are they? How much are they willing to pay? All of these things, what do they care about? What are their problems and issues in life? You need to know all of these things so that you can better serve them and better talk to them in your marketing. And lastly, think about your launch strategy. This is something you should be thinking about from day 0. You should know where you're going to launch and how you are planning to acquire your very first customers, because this will affect your actual product building. It will also affect some pre-launch marketing activities. You want to think about all of these things rather than focusing all your efforts on colors and brand and name, because these things, like I said, will build themselves out of your actual business. And I'm not saying they're not important at all. The reason I'm saying you should not be focusing on them is because people tend to use them as something to feel like they are working, to do some sort of a busy work thing where they feel like they are making progress when they're actually not. But at the end of the day, they can check another list off of their task list, but in real life, they're not taking their business forward. And you don't want to be this person. You want to actually do the things that move the needle. So this is it for things you should and shouldn't be focusing on in your first business. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you disagree with me on anything or if you think I missed something. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, good luck with your business.